Now, in my defense, I never claimed to have any idea what I was doing. When you start hobby machining on YouTube, it's in your contract that you have to make a fly cutter within 30 days or this old Tony will teleport to your house and confiscate your mill, so I decided to knock it out first thing. I started off by facing the part, as is tradition, though I got carried away with it and neglected to film it. After that, I started kind of roughing in where I wanted to turn a recess to accept a ledge in the back of this adapter I have for mounting a chuck on an R8 taper. I was trying to use cutters I already had in my box of cutters I inherited, but I was having trouble finding one that would both cut and adjust to the center line, so I just got rid of the center. You'll notice the cutters change around a lot while I experiment. I used this little groovy party off thing to define the outer edge to the full depth, and then turn to the rest until I hit that depth. Here I'm trying the chuck adapter to the recess and I got a surprisingly perfect fit despite having only measured it with an micrometer. That's what the other side looked like before I faced it. I swapped the 4-jaw chuck for the 3-jaw so I could grab onto that recess I just made and turn the diameter down. This was a pretty nasty slug of mystery steel and it didn't want to clean up easy. I tried several different cutters, both left and right hand, and finally found success with a left hand brazed carbide cutter that I didn't expect to work well at all. Even sped up 10 times, this clip is 38 seconds long. I decided to leave it though because it's just so darn satisfying to watch. The surface speed must have been too high near the outside because the finish was pretty bad. The finish in the middle turned out great. I'll just surface that smooth on the mill. Hashtag ominous foreshadowing. I'm going to have to cool it with the Blondie Hacks quotes before Quinn comes after me for copyright infringement. I mark the hole locations with a transfer punch. Turn it over. There you go. So I know where to drill the mounting holes. I'll just clamp the part in the mill vise. I'll just clamp. Has anyone seen a Plan B around here? I used a center drill that isn't really made for this to spot the holes. Don't look at me like that, you all do it too. On the third hole, my camera decided it would rather look at the welding rod holder in the background. The correct size drill for an M8 bolt is a letter H. Well, the correct size is 6.8 millimeter, but this is a Freedom Unit shop and I'll measure with the alphabet before metric, darn it. This camera really has a thing for orange. Maybe it was made in the Netherlands. Okay, now I'll just grab an M8 by 1 1/4 tap. Those are too big. That's a 1 1/4 by 7. Hey Alex. Well, that worked okay. I chucked the whole shebang in the lathe, poked a hole in the center, and carefully turned the diameter down to match the adapter. I don't have a mic that big, or batteries for my caliper. I just about couldn't have asked for a better finish than that. This is my entry into the jankiest mill setup of the year competition. Somehow I managed to set this cut to twice the depth I intended, and the bottoms of 2 of the bolt holes poked through. Not sure how I did that. Then I started cutting the slot for the 12mm high-speed steel cutter, carefully-ish lining up the center line by eye to a mark I made. It was about here when I realized I hadn't set it at the right angle, but a tapered parallel set it at about 6.5 degrees. I was going to go 5, but I ran with it. After I got the slot milled, I put on a nice little chamfer to make it pretty, and less sharp. Now for a job the vise will hold. I lined the slot parallel to the top of the vise using the piece of high-speed steel that will go in it later. I hope the top of the vise is parallel to the table. I picked out a 1/2-inch roughing mill, mostly because it looked cool and I wanted to play with it. It ended up being a good choice though, because that thing could really hog away some metal. I drilled 3 holes for some M8 by 1.25 set screws so I could just use the same taps I used for the bolt holes. I put them on the same 6.5 degree slope as the cutter slot. I power tapped as far down as I could reach and then finished the threads by hand. I had to slightly bore out the top 3/4 inch or so the body of the tap could go in and finish the thread. Slightly deeper than is strictly necessary for a grub screw, but whatever. The initials on this tap wrench mark it as my great-grandfather's. I've been finding a lot of tools with those initials. Now, in my defense, I never claimed to have any idea what I was doing. Now I'll assemble everything and see how it fits. How about that? I guess I should grind the steel into an actual cutter. This speed is too fast. This speed is too slow. This speed is just right. Except the table feed, that's way too fast. I decided to try it on a piece of brass, too. Very cool. I used this can of totally brand new and not at all something I found in the back of my grandfather's shop denatured alcohol to clean the oil and fingerprints and such off of the part, and then used some Birchwood Casey's Super Blue and some cotton makeup pads I tactically acquired from my wife's stuff to turn the part black. Yeah, I don't get it either. It's bluing, but it's black. I put almost no effort into polishing this up to get a nice finish. I really just wanted the color and maybe some slight rust preventative. I didn't have any steel wool like the instructions recommend, so I used a green Scotch-Brite pad to buff it out in between coats. And then immediately after I finished, I found an entire package of steel wool 2 feet away from where I was doing this.